He called me inquiring about sanitariums, like local sanitariums. Fargo. Well, so what's a sanitarium? My first thought was the tuberculosis treatment facilities that existed throughout this country for a very long time. As a kid, I even visited one. I remember, like, it was kind of like, well, what's this?
Yeah, this is really
And it was first knowledge that there were these places essentially quarantining people, you know? So that was one common use of the term sanitarium.
It really did cool off quickly. I mean, it seems like it's quickly, but of course, the sun not rising too early in the morning. You know, it's going to give you some indication, hey, it's going to be fall or something like that. And so I see the Fargo Sanitarium. I see...
This is the Neal Institute, but this building had it's still standing. It's the Roberts House on 8th Street.
Oh, okay.
It's like a big, kind of a big stone brick Victorian house.
I've seen that one. Here we go. I'm going to set this up. What a great day for this. It's well that worked out. Oh wow, there are guys on the roof. Okay, here we are at what used to be a Stone Sanitarium here in Fargo on 8th Street, historic, right, part of town, 8th Street.
It's actually for sale.
Yeah, so I guess if you're in the market for a building that used to be a sanitarium.
Exactly, it's got a very long history.
Yes, a very, very long history.
I'd almost be curious to kind of see if any of the interior still has anything that is still from that time period. I mean, others might be willing to talk to you and say, oh yeah, well, when we were working on this place, we noticed that
there was this, or there was that, or we kept this.
Or maybe there's sort of stuff like in the basement or something that is still from when it was a,
Sure, yes, a sanitarium.
Yeah.
Now sanitariums, let's be fair, they were a little better than asylums and state hospitals. You know, they were just kind of rooms or houses that had rooms in them.
But you were really interested in a little different type of sanitarium.
Yes.
Because they were also kind of like one building or 10 rooms or, modest sized care facilities. I'm sure some of them did some good, but some of them were maybe more like quacks. Just not sure.
Yeah, okay? Quackery.
There was also quackery too.
I was talking about how, so John had all these different, you'll get to see a chance, he scanned in these documents, but he was showing some of the advertisements for some of these previous sanatoriums, and some of their treatments really would fall under what we call spa treatments today. So sauna type devices or relaxation for the nervous system. And so it was an interesting to look at who their audience or who their clients would be.
I was just going to ask, like, how did researching go? But I've got this right here. Have you read any of the literature?
Really, no.
Why not take an inventory of yourself? Get an expert to inspect your stomach, size up your liver, test the efficiency of your kidneys. Oh yeah.
And so I wonder if in the asylums, that's where a lot of the experimentation with like mental health medication or mental health treatments, like you talked about shock treatment. I wonder if those were as common in sanatoriums.
As far as I know, yes, they popped up.
They did.
But not as much because sanatoriums, sanitariums, as far as I've been told, thank you Steve at the Fargo Public Library, thank you John at the NDSU Archives, they had talked about how affluent individuals could go to sanitariums. It was more kind of comfortable, more easygoing.
Interesting, so it was more for the wealthier clientele.
So you're saying spa treatment?
Those kind of issues. So now that makes sense, that asylums were for people that were under-resourced, didn't have as much money, didn't have as much family or other concerned people advocating for them.
Yeah.
But then the sanatoriums that have more spa type might have been for the wealthier clients, where it would be like considered a nervous disorder.
Yes.
Where someone is overwhelmed or they're experiencing hysteria, but not someone that has symptoms that couldn't be addressed enough to make them not visible, let's say.
Yeah.
So if you think of some of the mental health conditions, some of them might have what you call psychotic symptoms, or there might be paranoid symptoms, and those are, you can't hide those. Those are hard to hide.
Yeah, they are.
And so that can,
Yes. Listen to heart and lungs, count your blood cells, feel your arteries, find your blood pressure, take your weight, and measure your strength.
All right.
And so on.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Do it every year or oftener.
Oftener.
Oftener. Well, language is fluid.
Right.
So yeah, it's like I'm finding out that this treatment did occur,
Yeah.
like mistreatment,
Yeah.
but also proper treatment,
Okay.
did occur. And there were testimonials. I'm not saying that the Stone Sanitarium was an idiot's cage.
Yeah, no.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, yeah, they did the best they could, but some of the practices they had to know. It's kind of like, we're just baking the person, we're drowning the person, or we're electrocuting the person.
Yeah.
And it's like there had to be like a moment where they're like, this can't be right.
Some are tigers, these I cage. Some, like this one, are doves.
I've seen enough.
But you haven't seen the other cages.
I've seen enough.
When you use those tactics, you're permanently changing someone. You're
Yes.
causing permanent damage. Either, like literally biologically, you're creating long-term problems like electric shock, issues with memory, issues with personality. How do you weigh those? And who gets to make that choice?
Oh yes.
It's not usually the patient who's making that choice. I'm curious to see if there are people still alive who have had relatives or anything in here.
I have been informed that there are some people who can tell stories about being in these sanitariums.
Really?
Yes. And being in state hospitals, being in asylums here in
Yeah.
this area.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk to them though,
Okay.
because that seems a bit exploitative. I had brought up to you, like
Yeah.
horror movies, exploiting,
Yeah.
that sort of setting.
The most terrifying form of evil is that which lurks within the human mind. Asylum.
Asylum, sanitariums, and oh, it's really scary, and oh, it's terrifying, and you'll never come out alive if you go in there.
This is an asylum for the incurably insane.
Asylum.
Your goal is to create like a complete more historical record of these sanatoriums.
Sure.
We're gonna stop.
Because what I've been finding out is just through having conversations and reading some of these.
Oh, hello, bees.
Is there a bee on my nose?
Yes, he just touched your nose.
Oh gosh.
You were so gentle.
Yes, that was great.